Hey.
The person I'm talking to right now is a pretty incredible person. One of those people you cross paths with, but never get to know until you know their work more. So I see her on Instagram as owner of Kingston Will Holistic Healing, holistic coach. She's a holistic coach, but she'll elaborate more. She's just a person that she's like, she gives a lot. A lot of what she writes is very healing and inspirational. And I always wanted ways to support. But thanks to this book where I have Women I Know Ep7, it's an opportunity, but it's also an opportunity for women to give their voices to what I am trying to do, because as a man, I'm limited. So welcome, Chereese King, and let them know who you are and how I know you. Can start with how I know you, and then what do you do or wish to promote. Just let us know about yourself.
Please. Thank you, Brian. Well, first of all, I just want to congratulate you on your wonderful book and your release. I'm very proud of you. I think it's an amazing thing to speak from a feminine perspective, as well as, just to have that writing ability as you do, to be able to touch people. So I want to thank you. I don't think that there's enough men out there that want to understand the feminine, and I don't think there's enough men who actually are interested in understanding the both masculine, my battery there just went a bit off. I don't think, there's enough men out there that understand the masculine and feminine combined, which is a very important thing, especially for our continent. So thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
I'm Chereese King. Bless. So I'm Chereese King, guys, and I'm the owner of Kingston Will Holistic Health. Basically, what we do is transformational life coaching. Okay, it's something that I would like to elaborate as a alternative self-leadership mastery. Okay. I think everyone has a purpose in this life. Everyone has been born to some sort of soul and some sort of life path. And in that journey, it could get very tricky, and some people are lucky enough to find that purpose. Some people aren't. And at Kingston Will, I think we just basically strive to help people really understand themselves and get to a level of self-leadership mastery, right? I also include Reiki Healing, which is energy healing, and we deal with all the chakras and we find out what blocks you on an energetic level, because everything is energy, right? Everything has an energy component. So that's very important as well, to understand what sort of emotional barriers you have that are embedded within you from childhood, as well as your environment, which also affects your physical body, right? So on your process to healing, it's always a really good idea to look at your body, to look at your emotional health, your mental health. So I'm a Reiki master. I'm also a life coach, and Kingston Will is an amazing of mine, and I'd love to share it with the world. I think once my book is released as well, I think it's a very personal thing that you've done. I've been writing it for almost it's almost 3 years now, to be really honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's taken very long, but as you know, I think writing something really special takes a while. It really takes a while. So I'm happy to launch in the next 4 months, hopefully. And that's basically just a book on understanding the feminine. Let me take these off. It's basically understanding the feminine and masculine energies, and knowing how to coexist with the two, because everyone has both feminine and masculine energies in them. Males have feminine energy, and masculine energy, and females have masculine energy and feminine energy. And it's just about knowing when to rise which one up. So my book is about that, basically.
That's fascinating. I got introduced to that concept besides people talking about your feminine side and all that, but in terms of reading about it, there's a book called The Superior Man.
I think, just hold on 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
My volume is not okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think it's fine now.
As I keep talking.
Can you hear me?
So you can hear. Oh, you're perfect. I can hear you very well. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. This is weird.
Oh no.
This is very weird. Just give me a second. Sorry, guys. Edit this.
You can maybe talk about your educational background in the meantime.
Just give me 1 second.
Oh, okay, you can. Did you maybe mute me? Did you mute me?
I'm just gonna like lean in because I can't hear you now.
Okay. Do you think you muted me?
No, I don't think I've muted you. I have. Let me actually. Can I get another set of earphones? I'll be back.
Okay. Okay. Yes. She'll be back. So what I can say in the meantime is with the work I'm doing, I keep saying that I'm trying to, it might be the first time you see it. I have a book called Women Love 365, not only on Women's Day. So what I do is I have discussions about the book.
Hey, I'm back.
Okay. So I have discussions about the book because the topics couldn't really be finished, Everything I'm writing about how we interact with women couldn't be complete. So I decided to have conversations with powerful ladies I know, great women I know, but I'm also going to talk to the brothers just to get this interaction as men and women, because we coexist, we need each other. We need to make it more peaceful. So I've got Chereese King, and she's just explaining what she does. And I just wanted to ask about maybe your educational background. But before that, I was saying that the book called The Way of the Superior Man introduced me to this balancing of energies, the feminine and the masculine, and how sometimes as men and women, we can balance each other out in a way that where maybe you have a stronger feminine and I as a man, you can have a stronger feminine and the woman has a stronger masculine, and that still works for both of you. And I'm very conscious about that. So that's going to be very interesting to hear more about that. But just let me know about that, and also just your educational background. How did you get to know the stuff that you know?
I think for me, I've always known I've had this ability to reach people since I was a teenager, actually. My mom used to say that everything I spoke about was always about, well, my sentences always started off with, I read it in a magazine. So I was always a fanatical reader, and I always wanted to be involved in conversations, and I think at a young age, I mean, where would you hear about this wisdom that I'm speaking from? So I had to say, I read it in a magazine, but I didn't. I guess I was just born with this innate wisdom. And I think on my spiritual journey, in the last, say, 12 years, that has come up, that I do have this innate wisdom within me. And I'm completely blessed about that, and I'm grateful. My educational background is industrial psychology. So again, always been interested in psychology. I decided because of society, to be involved in ergonomics. So that would have, I thought it would have meant that I would earn more, being involved with humans and being in corporate. But I think my life really took a journey, and that journey was full of entrepreneurship, really full of, I was a management consultant, always involved in HR as well. And I became a business coach first, right? Wow. And then I've always known that this was what I wanted to do. And being a herbalist almost all my life, I knew that my passion was teaching, and my passion was sharing knowledge and touching people and helping them, and that's me, So I think my journey has always comprised of learning at every point, always having something to continuously learn about, continuously read about. And I decided, I think 5 years ago, to do life coaching, not that I needed it, but on societal terms, you do need that certificate to say, well, you are qualified or whatever.
Right.
And that's how I ended up coming into that. And it was never something that I thought I would have wanted to have a separate practice about. It was always part of my herbal health offering, because that has always been something that was a clear dream of mine,
Please say more really. Sorry. I want to hear more about the herbal. Don't just gloss over it. I want to hear more. Don't be rushing over the jewels and diamonds.
Well, I think being African, everybody has a bit of a medicine woman in them, and knowing just how powerful nature is, it's just, I can't really explain it. I think nature has really spoken for itself, in the sense where there's a cure for absolutely everything,
Yes.
and it's so powerful that our own governments, have made certain things unregulated, right? So the homeopathic industry is completely unregulated. Yes, there is an association, but not a lot of medical professionals actually respect it. And that's very sad. It's very sad, because that is the root of our existence as nature.
Unintended.
Yeah.
So what were you doing as a herbalist, for example? What were you, was it a practice? Were you healing people with it, or just healing yourself? Let me know.
I think it was self. It was healing of the self at first. And then I scored the term Dr. King from my family. I think growing up, everyone recognized that I also had this wisdom with herbs and stuff. And so I am called Dr. King. I'm not a real doctor. Okay. Well, I haven't studied to become one. And I do refer to myself as Dr. King as well, because I think whoever you think you are, that's who you are. I think on a soul level, if you believe that you are super great, that's ultimately who you are and who you will become, right?
Okay.
So I think in my family, also, again, lots of knowledge just about different herbs, things to help you boost your immune system, things to help you in your cognitive therapy, stress management, everyday living. Every single ailment that I can think of, people have come to me to ask me my advice. And as I said, again, it's a Dr. King thing. And I don't really call myself that, but it is one of the names that my family and friends do call me for. And so I think herbalism is a way of life, Brian. It's really a way of life. It's a strong belief system, and there's so much knowledge out there. I think it's a lifelong career. I think it's a lifelong journey, because the amount, I don't know if you've ever read a homeopathic book, if you've ever seen like a page or a list of herbs and how to pronounce them, and the different effects and the different healing elements to it. It's huge. The books are like stacked, right? So it's a lifelong thing.
Okay. No, I haven't particularly read a book on it, but I've dealt with, I had to cure myself using alternative medicine, because I was having...
Okay, what happened?
I was having, in 2014, I guess it was a very stressful year. So I think at some point, stress took over, and I had this amazing pain in my stomach. And then I had to have a colonoscopy. And then they were saying that, it's a digestive issue, infections. And they were going to put me on stuff that's like laxatives for life. And I'm like, yeah. And whatever they gave me was making me even blind, like my eyes would be blurry. And I couldn't, blind is exaggeration, but before going home at going to work at 7, when I'm
Right.
going to the car, my eyes would just be, I really couldn't see. It would be blurry.
Affected your vision. Yeah.
And I'd be fine maybe by like 10. So then I stopped these things, but eventually I meet this lady, tones. They do like herbal, they make pills out of plants, right?
Yeah.
And eventually the lady told me, because eventually as well, I kind of got better from that. For when I stopped taking the medication, I got better.
Yeah.
But then I got married and I moved to Richmond. And at some point driving to work, which is a 40-minute drive, I was falling asleep at the wheel.
Wow.
I mean, in 30 minutes, and I take
That's
2 days
not cool.
off and still be tired. So then I heard that it's stress. My fight or flight.
Adrenal glands. Yeah, it affected your adrenal glands.
Absolutely. Yeah, my adrenal system was messed up. So then they started healing, getting the balance right, more probiotics, but also just dealing with the stress of life, you know, because then it's fight or flight. It shuts down your whatever the body doesn't need, so you can survive.
Yeah.
So I got introduced to that language more by that. But other healers, I have a friend whose father just does the oxygen healing, where the body needs
that's really good.
Alkaline. So I did all those kinds of things.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's good.
So
don't ever go back. You know, I think the medical professionals have their place in this world, and I'm in no way at all saying that they are irrelevant, because they're really not. You know, and there's a really a lot of really good doctors out there, and a lot of really intelligent people as well, you know, that really have studied hard and know, you know, those specialists that really know what they're talking about and stuff. So I really do believe that they have their place in the world. But talking about big pharma, you know, talking about the dangers of taking medication to get better, I would strongly advise against it. You know, I would strongly advise someone to really treat the root cause, you know, not the symptom, but the root cause. And, you know, homeopathy is more of a preventative treatment. But what better way to live your life than to eat these herbs and drink them and take them every day to prevent any of these, you know, situations happening to you, you know, rather than just living callously and then taking a bunch of medications that actually damage other parts of your system. And that's what a lot of medication does. And medication is also, it's a wonderful, it's an intelligent thing. But it treats the symptom and it causes another problem in another area of your body, you know.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't know about that. And then you have these types of people that are hypochondriac. They love, you know, medication, you know, and they think it's like such a positive thing to like tell you, oh, I'm on this medication, that one, and this one. Oh, and I take this and I take that. And I sit with them and I'm like, wow, have you met those people?
Yeah.
I've met those people and I'm like, wow. Yeah, I'm like, wow, okay. You shouldn't be proud of that. You know, there's a lot of people that are really proud of the fact that they're on 10 different pills a day.
Yeah.
You know, the most medication I take, I promise you, is Panado.
That's great.
Period.
I've been similar.
Yeah, period.
Yeah. So the culmination of my illness was last year. I went to hospital in August. And after I came, and they couldn't find anything. I thought I had COVID and, you know, my temperature was going up to 40 at some point. But after coming out of hospital, I also avoided pills. I have a friend who, she read a book called How Not to Die or something. So she spoke about raw food.
Oh, okay.
Turmeric in the morning and things like that.
Turmeric is so good. Yeah, it's so good.
I started eating a lot of raw food, raw spinach.
Right.
So that was great for me because I can cook, but it was nice to not have to cook. So I'm saying that to say my blood is so clean right now. Like I had one beer last night and I still felt it in the morning. And it's like
dehydrated.
Like before. I mean, I drank a lot growing up, so to have a hangover, I would have had to drink a lot. But if I drank like a a few beers, I'd wake up fine in the morning, depending what I drank. But
Yes.
nowadays,
Yeah.
even eating meat sometimes, because I eat very much less meat, my body is sensitive. I feel what's in my body right now. So I feel
That's
really happy.
great.
I feel healthier than I've ever
Yeah.
been. I lost like 20 kg, 15, 20. And
You look great. You look
exercising.
great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You look
yeah, I
great.
just that purity. And also, yeah, Panado, I hardly, even if I have a headache, I think I've taken
All right.
3 times, 4 times this whole past 12 months, you know. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
love my body now.
I think that's so important, you know, especially during these times, Brian. You know, I think our health has become a commodity, you know. It's become a commodity. It's become the forefront of our existence. It should have always been, you know. But I think for these times and living in COVID, right? People are now, oh, my health, you know, oh, I need to lose weight. And I'm like, you should have done that before, you know. But nevertheless, I am launching as well, just to say, I'm launching 3 products, which are supplements and herbs in powder form. So that should be released in the next 3 weeks. And I'm very excited about that. And it's going to help everyone. It's going to be very cost effective, because I really believe in taking, you know, I don't think our poorer generation, you know, have the funds to go into a health store, for example. I don't know if you've been to a health store in Johannesburg or in Cape Town. It's quite expensive, you know, in PNB or whatever. It's quite expensive, you know, and it just saddens me. It saddens me that our herbs are priced so high. It comes from your backyard, you know, literally, you know. So basically what we are paying for is obviously the location rental of that store, you know, and markup for that owner. So I'm trying to change that narrative so that we have these herbal capsules or these herbal powders, you know, available to everyone, the rich guy, the poor guy, whoever. If you want your health, you can take it, you know. And I think it's been, you had asked me a question, what has been your struggle as a woman? And I think one of my main struggles has been about this health debacle, right? As a woman as well, this health debacle with COVID and our government and the entire world. I think I haven't seen anyone push, you know, farmers or give farmers extra aid to plant more vegetables at a higher rate to sustain, you know, to sustain our villages that are in need, or even our suburbs, right? I haven't seen, you know, the media talk about these natural herbs that are so good for boosting your immune system on a daily basis, you know, being really strict with it. Like taking turmeric is a huge anti-inflammatory, Brian, huge, massive. Garlic, it really irritates your tummy, but during these times, I would advise that you take garlic every day, every morning, you know, as soon as you wake up, with turmeric, you know, and a little bit of honey in lukewarm water, not too hot, not cold water. And those 3 things combined in itself is an antibiotic, it's an immune booster, it's an anti-inflammatory, it has so many antioxidants. I mean, you can take it from now until forever. So both my parents are like, yeah, both my parents are above 74. And when COVID started, I was very strict with them. I was like, you go buy garlic and peel it and cut it up in half and put it in a small container and put it in your freezer. So you don't have to go to the shop all the time. You can just buy a bunch of garlic, peel it all at once, cut it in half, put it into a Tupperware container, put it in your freezer. And every morning when you wake up, you open your freezer door, you take a half a clove, put it in your mouth, you drink water, you swallow it. You boil the kettle to make your tea, you put a half a teaspoon of turmeric, a half a teaspoon of honey and some water, and you drink it. And that's going to help your immune system build itself, be stronger. It's going to help fight off any type of viral or bacterial infection. So it works both ways, you know.
Wow. That's so practical.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very practical. Very, very practical. Yeah. Very, very practical.
I used to have, I think, garlic only in before I heard of turmeric, just garlic chopped up and with honey, in a teaspoon of honey.
Yeah.
And just
very good. And ginger as well. Ginger is great. I mean, if you can have that every day, I know it's a bit expensive, but if you can have that every day, that'll be fantastic. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm going to be releasing like powders that have all of those ingredients inside. So turmeric, garlic. I've added in extra things like ashwagandha, which is an Indian herb. It's very good. It's an adaptogen, very good for stress. And it helps lower your cortisol levels, and it's very good for cognitive functioning. And I've got another category for allergies, which is big for me because I'm allergic to quite a few things. So, just three categories, one for the immune system, one for allergies, and one for your cognitive functioning and stress management, which I think is really important nowadays.
This is amazing. So let me know, where do you work from? Like physically, where you're based, or how do you work? Like, so where you work from, and then how your distribution would work. Let's talk those two things. Okay.
So exciting news. I had made a very life-changing decision in the past 2 months to move back to KwaZulu-Natal, where I'm from Pietermaritzburg. I know, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I know. I spent like 15 years in Johannesburg, obviously climbing the corporate ladder. It was amazing. I love Johannesburg. I love the energy, the drive. And I accomplished a lot there. And, I'm really grateful for that season. But, nowadays, it is more about quality of life, and if you can work off the grid, or if you can live off the grid, or want to or strive to live off the grid, then you should. If you can live off the land, you should. And I think my life has just, really gone into such a wonderful space where I have the ability to do that. And I'm blessed for that. I really am.
Yeah.
So I'm now based in Scottsboro, Durban South, which is a lovely coastal village south of Durban. Very small town, lots of elderly folks.
Right.
And it's very quiet. I live practically on the beach, and I really love it. And my parents are in Pietermaritzburg, so I'm like an hour and a half away from them, which is great, Yeah. So I'm based here. Most of the manufacturers for my herbal products are in Durban. So I think that also helped me make that decision for myself. I've got an online platform, which is called Kingston Wool. And I'm also pushing it through a family members. They've got a whole host of products that they sell, and the shop is called The Souk. So I'm going to be selling the herbal supplements through the online platform, The Souk, and Kingston Wool Health. The Souk is THESOOQ.
Okay.
And then, and then Kingston Wool Health, which will just be an online product store, basically. But I'm only coming out with 3. So for now, that's what we're busy doing. Well, that's health. And then the book is coming at a later stage. I'm so precious about it. Did you feel the same? I mean, I can't get over how did you do it?
Easily. Oh, not easily. No.
Tell me.
I got lucky.
Tell me.
I was writing for the newspaper to learn, to become good and build a market initially, like 2008, 2010. Then I got so darn popular. I had this prejudice in my head that I'm thinking professors and old white people are going to read.
Yes.
Everybody was reading my stuff. Young people my age.
Really?
Every race. Now I'm having discussions in the shop when I go buy bread.
That's good, Brian. That's good.
So I stopped in 2010, and I had about 21 articles. So I made a book called Born Almost Free, but I found an agent, and they told me it's a bit short. And my academic friend, my professor, said it's a bit short. So then I wrote other longer unpublished pieces and turned it into like an autobiography of sorts. But my style of writing has
Right.
always been like that because I'm a rapper. So it's always been about me in the world, me in the world. So then
Yes.
the deal I had turned out wasn't such a great deal. And when I spoke to some colleagues, they said either you get another deal or you do it yourself. And that's when I remembered what I did. If I did this using, because I owned the copyright for the newspaper articles, I owned them. So I was doing it to learn. I was using the published articles to learn the book industry.
Right.
So I didn't get bitter about the bad deal, even though I was a bit offended because I did a 12,000 Rand launch. Didn't have the 12,000 Rand, but I spent money to launch my own book. How do you launch your own book when you have a deal? And,
right.
And then when people want the book, I've got to order the book. So I'm like, okay, so they have a captive client in me, but I'm supposed to have a deal.
Yeah.
You know? They won't give me a contract. So then I chose to do
They're
it.
They're quite sneaky.
Yeah.
They are quite sneaky. Yeah.
So I chose to just do it myself. And then you get the ISBN number, you get artwork done, a cover done. As a rapper, I had album covers done, so I did a book cover now.
Yeah.
And we just started going. I did a launch and everybody, well, I'd done a launch already, so I redid a new launch. And it just worked out, you know. So basically you learn every day. So I might need.
But how did you feel confident about the finished products? I think that's what I'm struggling with.
Well, because I read it quite a bit, so I know there are different styles of writing. So in my mind, I said, okay, this is a collection of essays. It's not a novel.
Okay.
I'm still too scared to do a novel. Yeah. I'm working on one.
Right.
So it's a collection of pieces. So to me, it felt like when I do an album, it's songs. And then the songs must stick to the topic of the album. So every article, every essay feels like a song. And I just did it like that. The hardest thing to do is the last chapter. It's the last chapter. It's always the hardest one for me, because how do you end this book now? You know, which is not an actual book. It's conversations. How do you wrap up the
conversations? Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So but it was really precious to hold it in my hand. And the second book was a collection of my poems. I call it Smiling After Lost Love, poems from my teens and early 20s, because I have an ugly handwriting. So if I wrote Chereese a poem, I'd have to write it neatly.
Me too.
And give it to her.
Mine is also like terrible. Yeah.
Because you're a doctor. So I'd write the poem, and then I'd be like, okay, I'll write you a neat copy and give it to you. One day, I'm moving flats or something, and I start finding these files with like 10 poems, 15 poems. I'm like, I could do a book with these. You know, it was quite a lot, and they were quite good. So then I remember at 2010 or 2011, asking every subject if I can use their poem for my book.
Oh,
it was so nice. And I connected with everybody, and everyone says, yes, you can. But it's part of my my gender activism. Smiling after lost love. People think you can't get over a relationship.
Yes.
And I was head over heels with some of these people. You can tell by the poems. Didn't work out somehow, whether we dated or not, didn't work out, and everybody's fine and happy and alive. Key.
Yes.
So, you know, my work has been from the violence of it, the actual GBV stuff, to more getting along, to the love. So I've come not quite full circle, but with Women Love 365, I'm speaking the love. I could have said stop abuse. I could have done all that, but I'm saying how to love. Get along with your ex. Get along. Well, be cool with your ex if you can't get along. Be supportive of businesses. Be sensitive to your moms and your mom in a struggle, etc. Your sisters, you know. And we all one ultimately. Everyone is. If you love your sister, then you know that your girlfriend is someone's sister. You know,
absolutely.
It keeps going. So again, with this one, it was tough how to end it, but I just, since my marriage was falling apart, I wrote something called Everything Else is Private. Everything Else is Private. So I wrote about how we met and how it's not working out currently. I didn't want to give details. It was a second. It was a second draft. The first thing I wrote was pretty angry. I was like, nope. This doesn't belong in the book.
Not doing that. Yeah.
Yes.
Not doing that.
So interestingly, my breakup gave me the conclusion, because in the book I wrote the second part of it, married. So I was navigating these marital issues, not necessarily issues, but how to make it work. For example, Women Love 365 practice. You know, So it's
Okay.
taking your life out, helping with the children. Those are practical things you can do, you know.
Okay.
So I'm saying like that's how I get confident. I'm like, okay, I talked, and the conclusion was powerful, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for that. Thank you. It must have been difficult to write about your relationship.
Not really, eh? We'd agreed about
Okay.
it. So for example,
Okay.
I already give women nicknames. I don't know you well enough to give you a nickname, but if I wrote about you, for example, on a personal basis, because of your privacy, I would navigate our relationship through using a nickname, which no one knows.
Okay.
And then I've always done that. So it was challenging in a marriage. A marriage is a big deal. So I was just being careful, but it was
hectic.
But it was mostly explaining my relationships with women as a married man, how pure they are, you know. How to do a book I learned from women, my editors are women. So it's not always a suspicious situation with a woman and a man. So the message becomes, be open to working, you know, across genders to get your dreams to come true. Let's try not be jealous every time. Let's try and not be suspicious. Have enough confidence in yourself. Have some, you know, if you don't have that confidence, but your integrity, your honor will guide you.
Absolutely.
And then your partner,
sovereign power.
Absolutely. And then your partner has to trust you. I mean, like, look at you, you're really beautiful. I don't want to get off this interview and have a fight with somebody because you're so gorgeous and I appreciate you and I like you and I articulated. Now I'm in trouble because I articulated how great you are, how intelligent you are, how bright you are. Now I'm in trouble. We cannot make South Africa work like that. We cannot make
absolutely.
You know.
And
the beauty and the love and the loving, as much as I love my friends that I'll be interviewing as well, it shouldn't be salacious. It shouldn't be a sexual thing to appreciate beauty, to love, to really love. You know, we can't be telling people when they die only, oh, I love them. He's talking at the funeral now. You know.
No, you're right. Carry on.
I'm just saying I lost so many people. It shaped me. The HIV days really took a lot of people from me. Every semester from varsity, I lost 3 or 4 friends, you know. People were sick looking.
It was quite hectic. So I remember.
It's a side effect. My lovingness is a side effect of the loss from sickness and violence. So so you know, my work is about that, and so the conversations, the books are conversations. I try and tone down the academic language, just to get the message out, and these interviews are inspired as well, you know.
Absolutely, well done, I think it's great. I think you know, where I'm at the moment, I'm trying to figure out, are we really supposed to not know when to intervene into someone's life or when to switch their light on, you know? So as a life coach, you understand that everyone's on their journey, you know, and you're talking about, you know, this deep love that's inside. From a spiritual perspective, you know that if God wanted to awaken you and to open your eyes to a certain thing, right, he would do that. So us as people, you know, we do not have that power over others, okay? But there you have these ordained people like yourself, who are blessed with source, with knowledge that comes straight through your crown chakra.
Me?
In the form of inspiration.
Thank you.
And God uses people like you to inspire those people that are asleep, to inspire those people that don't know or haven't felt. So
thank you.
Bless you. You do have a big calling over your life. And I really resonate with what you said about, you know, things not being salacious between people. And a lot of people have approached me in the past, and I think it still happens now, you know, be it woman, a lesbian or a male. And it's very uncomfortable sometimes because I've got a loving energy about me, you know. And growing up,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And growing up, many people disliked me because they received it as sexual energy. You see?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because of their own insecurities or their own nature, their innate nature, they perceived me as someone wanting to get close to their significant other, or someone wanting to, draw a barrier between friendships and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's really unfortunate. However, I agree with what you're saying, because if we have a deep love, if all of us can cultivate that strong bond within yourself, and you have that deep love, I can be attracted to you, Brian. I'm attracted to you right now, but that doesn't mean it's sexual. It doesn't mean I want to call you tonight. It doesn't mean I want to go on a date with you. It doesn't mean that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It means that if we have to get to the ICC in Durban, I would definitely be attracted to you at that point and go and stand with you, because we've had this interview. Do you understand? And now we are like-minded people. Right. So even with females, I've met so many lesbians and they're like, oh, there's a connection. And I'm like, no, babe, there's no connection, babe. None. And they're like, what? And I'm like, no connection. But I love you as a person. You're a great woman.
Not that type of connection, maybe.
Right. So a lot of people don't understand that.
As you're talking, I'm just seeing your Kingston Will holistic coach, and I'm like, exactly, holistic,
Yes.
With mind, body, and spirit. When I was ill, I was like, okay,
absolutely,
my spirit's fine, my mind is fine, and now I need to work on my body. So attractiveness is usually, you've usually got to find out what kind of attracted I am to this person, because sometimes you need a kind word, and sometimes you need I guess sexual whatever satisfaction, but there's always these different things. Life companionship, there's always these different things you need. It's 100 things maybe, but out of these 100 things, some of them are from the spiritual side, some are from the physical side, some are from the and you've got to take that time. I have this rule that I don't let girls get lucky with me before 2 months.
Okay.
I just feel like because it gets stressful, because you may not understand that experience. In the first,
especially when you're getting to know someone, it's so real. And
you're both beautiful. It's like I had a chapter in my first book called Beautiful Woman in Me, because at some point I realized, oh my goodness, I relate to women. A pretty woman, sometimes people don't even care what you have in your mind and heart. They don't care. They just
That's true. That's true.
And how they're gonna how they look with you walking next to them.
Right.
And they don't want to know what.
And that's a huge turn off. It's a huge turn off. Yeah.
At work, it happened to me professionally too. It's like I'm trying to have a meeting and these people are flirting with me. The one boss, the one lady had said, oh, we just love your voice. You must talk because you got the voice and you speak nice and calm and soft.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow. What about my degree? What about,
Yeah. What I'm saying,
You understand. So then I was like, this is what women go through. and so I became
all the time.
I became sensitive to that because I was being treated like that. And of course, the thing about being hated, friends feeling threatened, all that stuff women go through, and I started to be more sensitive. It was like an education for me to say, okay, try and avoid being that problem to a woman.
Yes.
Because you are a loving force. You are pure. Pure is attractive. Anything pure is very attractive. And you mean well. You mean well. I'm searching. I want our children to grow up in a place where the woman can just walk at 2 a.m. where my sons can have a girlfriend who hasn't been damaged, for lack of a better word, who's not wounded.
Yes.
There's a lot of wounded women, a lot of women with your guard up because of how cruel the world is to women. So as a brother who's trying to be none of that, it can be misconstrued and then I end up in trouble with funny conflicts with women. And of course, I'm sensitive to that. I understand why. As a man, I understand why a woman would be uncomfortable if I say sis, if at the end of a message I say love, you know.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
Yeah. So I guess it you know, are you done, if you're done with the challenges as a woman, I just want to hear more about what men can do better in this world.
Yeah.
How what would be better for you? What would you have men do? Like maybe if it was a law, like men have to 1, 2, 3, or just in dealing with men, clients, professionals, colleagues, brothers.
Yeah.
You know, what can we do better as men?
You know, I'm Brian, I'm really passionate about this. I think I don't know if it's a trend, but I think it is some kind of a trend. It's a toxic masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this topic. I love it because I love men. I love the man so much.
Thank you.
You know, I was brought up with an amazing father, you know, really, really amazing gentleman. And how he's never even shouted at me, you know. He was so strong in his voice, in his quiet voice, that I knew when he was angry, you know, and I knew how to submit and how to give respect, right? So just giving you that background. I got a little bit emotional there talking about him because he's a wonderful man. He's just wonderful. And he's such a great example, right? I mean, he's got flaws and stuff like everyone else, you know, but leave that to the side. Talking about the masculine is so beautiful, you know, to have honor, to have courage. There's a reason why your shoulders are broader than mine. There's a reason why your hands are bigger than mine. There's a reason why you're different to me. You know, there's a reason why you talk different. There's a reason why you think different. We are not the same. We are not equal. We are not, you know. We are two different entities, two different creatures. We're different creatures. We're not the same. We human beings. We've got that, you know, unilateral essence about us, but we're not equal. And honestly, I don't want us to be equal. Okay. I really think that men should be proud of who they are, you know. I think that there's a great decline of masculinity within our society these days. And it comes from the toxicity that the ego has driven the masculine in, you know, and the world and society. There's a lot of things, you know, it's not just one man, you know. And I think the only way we can get out of it, Brian, is if we teach men how to be sovereign in their masculinity, how to be honorable, and how to like themselves as they are, you know, and teach society that the man must take the man's place. That's what I believe. Okay. The woman must take the woman's place. We all have different strengths and different challenges. Like you may be good in finances, I may be good in communication. You know, in that essence, we can switch roles, right? We can definitely do that. And it's got nothing to do with, you know, money and who's earning more money and whatever. Right. The masculine energy on itself is giving. Your phallic is a giving phallic. When we interact sexually, that's why your phallic is that way, because the masculine is a natural giver. Okay. And the feminine is a natural receiver. So in our feminine energy, we create. When you write, you're stepping into your feminine energy. You're creating. You're soft. When you're busy with business and you're dealing with your book deals, you're full of action, you know? You're acting. You've got the masculine energy, right? So constantly, every day, we move between the two. Constantly, every day, we're moving in between the two. And I think, right? Thank you. So I think what men can do is understand who they are. I think everyone, females included.
Yes.
I think understanding why you're here, who you are, what makes you tick, what traumas you need to heal from. I think as African people, we have really been traumatized in big ways, you know, massive ways. And I think every single one of us needs healing. Every single one of us, right? To the governments, to the leaders, to the children. I think what we can do for our next generation is to heal ourselves and heal those issues that have made us who we are. We don't need to be this way forever. We can evolve, you know.
Yes.
We are not trees that are stuck in one place, you know, and we're like, oh, well, I'm going to die here, you know. And I see that a lot with clients. People are very proud, like, oh, well, it's who I am, you know.
Yeah.
And that's not true. That's not true. I really believe in evolution. I believe that we should evolve, you know. So I think for men, if we can focus on healing, if we can open up that portal for men, I would love for you to join me on one of my retreats if you can. I will invite you. I think you are a perfect person to bring along in that retreat.
Thank you.
And it's about, you know, rewilding the masculine. And I'm going to be there as well. And I don't care that I'm female and I'm there. You know, I want other males to be there as coaches as well. But I think, you know, opening up this gateway for African men, you know, all men, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But opening up this gateway of being emotional, having a conversation about healing, having a conversation about your mom and the issues you have with your mom. You know, lots of men have maternal issues, hey?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, and that's not a bad thing, because I think a lot of people don't understand that while you were born and your parents were growing you up, they were also growing up, you know? And we shouldn't necessarily blame our parents and their parents, because they're only recovering from what their parents did to them, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it brings me back to what you've said, like just really sitting in that space of love and compassion and just really understanding, like, hey, let me just have love for this person. I don't know what they've been through, you know. So if you know that your mom and dad didn't mean to hurt you, you know, or they were a certain way because of how they were brought up, okay, fine. But now it's your opportunity to take the wheel and direct your own life and design that life for yourself, you know. So I think what we really need to focus on, and I'm definitely going to bring you in on healing the masculine, you know, bringing them to the front.
You've just helped me with something. Wow, right now.
Really? You had an aha moment.
No, I'm having tension with my dad and I don't know how to call him. So I'm going to call him after this. Thank you.
You better. And you better tell me it went well. Okay. You better.
I will do.
I think, you know, I think every one of us has a responsibility, you know, the victim as well as the perpetrator, whoever you see, because remember, we're all operating on our own different realities as well, you know.
Yeah.
So your reality is very different from your dad's. I can tell you that.
That's
you
true.
know.
That's true.
Because you were not born from the same womb as your dad, you know. So if you've got understanding and respect over his life and over your life, and you know, just that essence of love, I definitely talk to him. Yeah. Definitely talk to him.
Yeah. And probably I just need a hug from him, and I haven't got it in months, so maybe that's why I'm mad.
Oh, bless.
I told
you
mom,
too.
I told my mother, I don't know what to say to him. I need to call him. He just lost his brother, and I need to call him, but I don't know what to say to him. So
tell him you love him. That's it. Tell him you love him and that you want to honor him and that you're sorry and you respect him. Because I think our fathers also want respect. You know, they've worked hard, whether they were present or not, you know. And we must just let go of whatever we thought they did, you know, because I promise you, if you sit down and ask them, it's different to what you think. It's definitely different,
yeah,
you know.
we've made our peace with each other over the years. But the marriage, getting married, the wedding process made tension. It's like he's a very proud father, but sometimes the pride must be put aside and let's get to the business of things, you know. So that's been my challenge. You know, sometimes the it's nice to be praised, even though sometimes it makes your siblings jealous, but then it's also the praise must at some point be put aside for like, yo, let's get this stuff done. It's actually difficult. It needs our focus.
Yes.
Yeah, etc. I want to ask something because it's a bit broad. You spoke about the masculine. I need your definition of masculine. I mean, you know, it probably takes 10 hours, but just make it short.
It's very broad. It's very broad.
Because you say the decline of the masculine. So I need to, you know, what you meant by that. Because as a man, right? Just before you start, as a man in my marriage, and I was there when my children were born, I was holding her hand and I'm changing diapers, I'm present, I'm doing these things, I'm doing laundry, I'm helping her. And then you get some people making fun of me. There's a possible postpartum depression issue, which is a bit sad. And I'm like, okay, it might be that. Let me turn up the caring for this newborn, so she can have some space, relaxation, you know, and that is seen as not masculine by some people. And I know myself, I'm a powerful guy in different areas of life. So I have a lot of confidence, and some of the stuff I do is I'm showing you in public what you should be doing in private. That's part of my sales pitch for them. That's good. For my post, you know. Showing myself cooking, you know, and things like that. I know what I'm doing. I'm teaching. I'm showing you. If you think I'm a cool guy cooks. A cool guy changes diapers, does laundry, you know.
Absolutely.
So then I'm asking this question because I'll have the odd questioning of my manhood, masculinity, even though it doesn't affect me. It's society should think differently. So I just need your definition.
Absolutely.
I need your definition.
I don't think that there is a definition. Okay. But I will explain. I don't think that there is a definition. You see, the man and the woman, okay, they are different. Physiologically, there's a difference. Okay. You know that women have naturally strong legs. Okay. Naturally. We are stronger at the bottom because of birth. Right? Hips and carrying and being pregnant, okay? Being the creators. We are creators, okay? Men are naturally stronger in the arms. You can go to gym and you can lift weights, and then all of a sudden you have a bubble. I've been at gym, look, there's nothing, you know? It's like, and I always like wonder, like, why are my arms so weak, you know? But I have to remind myself that I don't need strong arms. You know, I wasn't made this way.
And you only carry babies when they're small. Then they can walk after
you know? Exactly. And then you'll carry them after that, right? So I think I would love to sit down with God and ask him why he made us the way he made us. But unfortunately, you know, that's why I'm saying I don't think that there's a definition, but I will explain further. Each one of us have energies within us, and God has been so amazing where he's given us the ability to switch over when we can, you know, because we are here alone on this earth. We weren't born with our significant other. We weren't born with a husband. We weren't born with, you know, yes, twins are born together, but still they've got different minds, you know. So he's made us in such a special way that we have these energies in us, right? These feminine energies and masculine energies, right? So now remember, physiologically, you're a masculine. Right. Why? Because of your physiology, right? I'm a feminine because I've got a small waist, big bums, big hips. I can, you know, be pregnant, you know, women. Breasts, long fingers, you know. Yes, I love women too. I'm a huge feminist, and I love the body make, and I love the masculine body as well. You
that's
know,
why God made women though. Imagine how ugly the world would be without women. So that's my one answer.
You know? No, I don't think so.
Like,
So
you know what? I'll hook you up. Just eye candy. Pick one. Be nice to it.
Right, right. I mean, how's Drake's song, his new song, where he talks about, he dedicated it to toxic masculinity.
Oh,
And you do. I think it's just like one of his songs, though. It wasn't like the whole album, but he was just really being honest about how he's also at fault about being a toxic masculine, and he in his song he raps about men, ladies wanting women wanting women.
Okay.
And he says, yeah, don't worry, I'm a lesbian too.
Oh, I had that one. Okay.
Right. So we are definitely seeing that in our world today, that women are moving away from men because men are scary nowadays. Hey? You thought he was being naughty.
Like, yeah.
No. Actually, no. Look at the album. Right up underneath, he dedicated to like 2 women that had died from violent crimes. Recent violent crimes, and it's dedicated to toxic masculinity. He's just been honest, and I think that that's very deep of him. He's also a very blessed soul in his heart space.
Absolutely.
So going back to our discussion, I think each one of us, there are certain times of the day where we're masculine. There's certain times of the day where we're feminine. Okay. But overarching of that, you decide who you want to be. Okay. So if you're a masculine and you feel masculine, you feel like you've got more masculine energy. And that's also physiological. Some men have more testosterone than others. It's a real thing. Some men have bigger bums because they have more estrogen in their bodies, It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Some men have no bums and big arms, and it's this hormone of testosterone and estrogen. Myself, I have slightly higher testosterone in my physiology. I've got oily skin. So I have lots of, I used to have lots of pimples and stuff like that, right? And when I dug deeper, my estrogen levels are perfect. Okay, they're perfect. But I have a slightly elevated level of testosterone, which gives me a little bit of oily skin. Okay, so that's why you'll notice in the gym where you see those guys taking steroids, they have bad skin because their skins become automatically oily from the steroids because it raises your testosterone. Okay. So I think to your question, I think individually we really have to know who we are. And I'll tell you a personal story. I have a very strong mom. She's so strong. I love her to bits and pieces. She's really in her masculine energy. Right. And it was very hard for her to be feminine growing up. Right. And I've got a good blend of both my dad and my mom, right? But I definitely noticed that my mom was very masculine in her approach. How she spoke, she was like, iron fist, do that, don't do that. Don't, very like, wow, dude, like saying I love you was really not there,
Okay, yes.
It was a bit awkward. And I mean, obviously I was brought up in a very loving way, but those had times and specific moments for it, but it wasn't like overarching, right? So obviously she was running a home. She's an incredible woman. She's running a home. She's masculine. And that tricked my brain into thinking that I should be that way also, But I'm a very soft woman, all right? I'm very soft. And it's only been in the last, say, 15, 14 years that I've really come into my feminine energy. And I'm really comfortable in that energy. And why? Because I've taken about 15 years, the past 15 years. Yes. Yeah, I'm 37 now. So it's only been then where I'm really comfortable because I've realized who I am. I realized what energy is more dominant within me. You know, some men, I've got a best friend who her boyfriend cooks every day. I think that's a blessing. I think that's wonderful. He's got a special talent and he is an amazing cook, right? So that doesn't mean he's a little
not masculine.
bitch, you know?
Right.
No, sorry, you know, it doesn't mean that he's extremely masculine, you know, and he's a leader and all those things. So coming back to me, I went for coaching myself, you know, back then.
Okay.
And my coach had said to me, "You're a dragon slayer. And when you get home, you don't hang up your suit."
He's slaying the man too.
Right. I was very strong. And I'm still a very strong person. But I was not giving my feminine energy the space to play. I wasn't at home with myself. So I think as a man, Brian, if you're at home with yourself, you will feel which energy is more dominant. And I guarantee you, you will have lots of masculine traits and lots of feminine traits, you know? It doesn't make you less of a man if you are sovereign in your person, in who the observer, who you are.
Yeah. You know what you're making me...
Does that make sense?
It does, especially with some of my dating choices. Because as a man, like I said, I'm very confident, I feel very powerful. And when you're powerful and confident, you don't want to hurt anybody, right? But when you don't want to hurt anybody, now you're no longer intimidating. So I deal with women, some have been in abusive relationships, whatever. Now they're turning up with me, they're aggressive with me now. And it's like, yo, I am not that kind of person. Relax. I don't do the shouting. It just gets bad. It's like, okay, then you gotta go. Right? You gotta go. Maybe I should have said, stop. But when I said, don't do it, don't do it. I'm talking to a grown up here. You don't believe me. And then it's like, I've had situations where I'm like, we're done. And the person doesn't believe we're done because I didn't shout that we're done. I didn't, you know?
I know.
Like,
I've got the same feeling about shouting. I hate it. I think it's the most bizarre way of communicating.
I grew up like that. And I can shout, obviously, but I just don't like it. In fact, when the first time I shouted at a woman I'm dating, I want to break up with her. Like, you made me go there. As a person.
Yeah, you made me ugly.
Yeah, man. So you made me think of how the Dragon Slayer people will see someone like me and say, oh, I can slay him all day. He's weak. And it's like, no.
Not cool. No, it's not about that. Yeah.
But yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, conversation. Thank you. I really love this.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know. I think we're going to have more. I'm definitely going to pull you in some of my stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, anytime. And then just by way of conclusion, when I say Women Love 365, what comes to your mind? What do you think it is? What do you think it should be?
I think I have read a bit about it, you know, on the net. I haven't bought your book yet, and I will buy it. Okay, I will. I think what comes to mind, Brian, is it's understand. I mean, I saw a clip the other day. It was from Nipsey Hussle, and he was asked a question. What is the best essence of a woman? And his answer was the heart. And he spoke about his grandmother. Oh, yeah. And he said, she was so kind and so strong. And it made me feel like I needed to protect her because I was afraid of how people would take advantage of her heart because her heart is so pure and so kind and strong. And he said, but then he looked at her life and he realized that she was like superwoman. She was so strong that even if people were kind to her, the strength of her heart was so ginormous and amazing and powerful that no one could hurt her. And she had no regrets. Whatever she did, she had no regrets. And I just thought that it's so beautiful. I think that's what I think of when I think of your book. Because it's about understanding the heart because you're not only teaching people how to think and love and be from the heart space, you're also talking about women and what they're feeling around the heart space. And that's so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. But just to clarify, I wasn't saying like what the book means, the message itself.
Okay.
The concept.
Yes.
Of loving woman 365, you know. But
so that's what I mean.
I
That's what I mean.
I appreciate
that's what I mean.
All right.
Yeah.
Chereese, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this conversation. And just to get into your heart and mind and your wisdom. And I wish you all the best. You know, a friend of mine, we're going to Durban, and she said she goes that way, and she said Scottsboro. So I just heard the name, that there's a beach recently. So there must be something about that. That means I'll end up there. And
absolutely. Yeah, you must come. I mean, it's an amazing place. Yeah, it's really amazing. It's small. It's very small, but you can get like vegetables on the corner cafe for like under 60 Rand and ice cream for 20 Rand. And you can walk to the private beach, or you can go swim in a tidal pool. It's amazing. It's an amazing community. Yeah, I'm really proud to be a part of it. Yeah, so you must definitely visit and keep in touch. Okay.
And I'm in Richmond, which is also quite a small place, and you know, things are also like
that's outside of Pietermaritzburg, right?
Yes, about 35 minutes.
Okay.
And it's just nice and small. It's a quiet living. I got quite a big yard.
Is it?
Yeah, so I'm trying to work more on planting stuff. I got trees and everything, and it's just beautiful.
Lovely. Okay. No, that's great. You must bring me some spinach, eh?
Okay. There's some dry one here. I'm like, grow. Like...
yeah, please bring me some spinach, okay?
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. We'll be in touch, and bless you, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's a privilege. Thank you. Cheers.
Okay.
Bye.